All right, plenty of work there to get done, so it's better we get started right away. Let me bring in Dhirendra Kumar, the CEO of Value Research and our in-house mutual fund expert who speaks exclusively to this show. Dhirendra, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get straight to our first question. Shailendra Kumar is 50 years old. He works for a government bank in Bhubaneswar with a monthly income of 1.1 lakh rupees. Now, he has two main targets. His children's education in the next 4 years. He tells us he has a son and a daughter, and he also wants to plan for his daughter's wedding in the next 5 years. He's also about 9 years away from retirement right now. So he sent us his entire portfolio. I want to first talk about his debt investments. Now, he has the PPF, obviously, which is mandatory, but he's also putting money in the PF. He has about 24 lakh rupees in both of those combined. I'm not sure if he needs both. He also has the LIC pension scheme. Now, so much money going into debt right now, would you recommend he keeps all of that money in there? Does he need both the PPF and the PF?
Yeah, I think, given that he will have a pension available, given that, he will have his provident fund deduction also happening. Besides this, there will be a provident fund deduction as well, which will also be fixed income. I think it requires a complete rebuilding, a fresh look at where all his money is, getting invested.
Before we get into the specifics of his mutual funds, I want to talk about his asset allocation. Now, we know where all of the money is, but if you were to ideally allocate these assets, planning first for his daughter's wedding and his children's education, and then for his retirement, how would you divide that money?
The money which, is needed in the next 5 to 6 years, which is for children's education as well as his daughter's wedding, that should be into a fixed income. Because they are in the middle of their education and there will be cash flow needed. And all the money besides that, to my understanding, it is the money which he needs for his retirement. He's a bank employee and he will have a pension, but the pension will not be enough because he will require supplementary income even in his retirement. And for that, he has the accumulated savings. That money, if I have to follow a simple plan, I will, have about 65–70% into equity, remaining in fixed income, rebalance it every year, and he still has 10 years ahead.
Okay, let's start again from the bottom. You said first, anything that he needs in the next 5 years should be in fixed income. When you say fixed income, is this a fixed deposit or is this a debt fund? Can you recommend where he should put that money?
I would say that the money which is needed in the next 1 year, that should be into savings bank account or in a liquid fund. The money which is not needed in the next 1 year, that can well be a fixed deposit, or it could well be, a short-term bond fund. Bond fund or deposit is also a matter of, what income tax bracket you are in. If you don't pay too much of taxes, if you're in the lowest tax bracket, bank deposit just might be good. If you're in the highest tax bracket, then your short-term bond fund or ultra short-term bond fund might be a superior bet, and today they will be able to match the return which you derive from a fixed deposit.
All right, moving out to his retirement money, Dhirendra, can you give him a list of funds he can use? Because his funds right now, he has 4 funds from the HDFC stable and a couple of gold funds. That might not do the trick. What do you think he should be investing in at this moment?
So I would say that, he should simply follow our stable growth portfolio, and all his money methodically invest in that. That will keep diversification, that will keep tax efficiency, and it will be very simple to manage.
All right, Shailendra, we hope that helps. Remember, you can write back to us if you need any more help. Dhirendra there designing an entire portfolio for you. Now, we have a question, Dhirendra, from Rajshri. She writes in after our Diwali episode. She tells us she just went through a divorce and she's received 10 lakh rupees as compensation. She wants to invest this money so it generates a monthly income of 40,000 rupees. And she wants to know if there are any specific investment options exclusively for women that she can use. Now, first of all, a return of 40,000 rupees a month from a capital of 10 lakh rupees is a very tough ask from an investment option. What do you think she can do?
With reasonable safety, or even after assuming marginal risk, it is very difficult to achieve a return of 10–12% consistently. And consistently is very important because you will be depending on the regular income from your investment. You have two options. One, put money in a bank and settle with lower return. The other option is, choose a MIP, invest in a MIP. That can enhance the return a bit, but it'll be a compromise on consistency of performance, because there will be occasion when the equity will not do well, and at that point your capital might look a little lower than what it is. But I think if you're investing for the long run, that should take care of it. And that can enhance your return by 1–1.5% over a couple of years.
All right, so it's important, Rajshri, that you realize that you can't expect that kind of money. And like Dhirendra said, you should keep your expectations real. Dhirendra, the second half of her question, is there a specific investment option she can use as a woman? Now, we know there are these ads that have been doing the rounds of products that are designed for women. They look really good. We've examined them on the show, and we know that they're not very different from regular products, and you're probably better off using a regular product. But again, in her specific case, those products don't suit her, do they?
No, not at all, because, you know, and I don't think there is any meaningful differentiation or any kind of privilege available to ladies as an investor.
All right, Rajshri, we know that's a tough financial situation to be in. Feel free to get back in touch with us if you need anything else. Dhirendra, we have a question from Puran Singh, who will be retiring in March next year. He tells us he'll receive a lump sum amount of 20 lakh rupees. He wants to know if it makes sense for him to invest that money in the National Pension System or the NPS. He also wants to set aside some money for his 5-year-old grandchildren, and he wants to know what's the best way to do that. Obviously, the NPS is meant for someone who's saving towards retirement and not someone who's retiring. So what would you recommend he does with his retirement corpus?
No, one is that retirement corpus should not get into NPS, because at retirement, even NPS warrants that you move that money. At least 40% of that money is annuitized. You buy annuity out of your accumulation in NPS. So in retirement, investing into NPS may not be a wise idea. But I would say that, you know, you have superior options, which is depending on your time frame of investment. And if you're investing for grandchildren and they're very young, then you can well consider a large and mid-cap fund, or even a balanced fund if you don't want to see them go down in value substantially in case of a very shaky market.
Give him a name of a fund that he can use for his grandchildren. Considering they're 4 years old, we're talking about at least a 16 to 18-year time horizon.
If I have to choose a couple of funds, you know, from the large and mid-cap or a multi-cap category, I would say, you know, a DSP BlackRock equity fund or a UTI equity fund or ICICI Prudential Dynamic Fund. These are kind of fund which will have flexibility. You don't have, they are very low maintenance fund, and they have a long, reasonably long track record of doing well.